Have you ever felt like no matter what you do, something always feels missing? Do you ever wonder why happiness seems so temporary, slipping away the moment life throws a challenge your way? What if the problem isn't life itself, but the way we see it? Imagine this. You finally buy something you've wanted for a long time. At first, it feels amazing, but after a few days, the excitement fades. Soon, you're looking for the next thing to make you happy. Why does this happen? Why does satisfaction never last? Buddhism offers answers to these questions, answers that have transformed lives for thousands of years. It doesn't promise magic or instant solutions, but it teaches something even more powerful, a way to understand life deeply and free yourself from constant struggle. Before we begin, welcome to Wisdom Woven, where we explore powerful ideas that can change the way you think and live. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So, if you're finding this content valuable, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us keep bringing life-changing wisdom to you. And don't forget, drop your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing your insights. Buddhism isn't just a religion. It's a way of understanding the mind, emotions, and reality itself. It's not about blind belief, it's about seeing clearly. These teachings have helped millions of people break free from stress, anxiety, and endless desires. And the best part? You don't need to become a monk or give up everything to apply them. The wisdom of Buddhism is practical. It teaches how to stay calm in chaos, find peace in the present, and let go of unnecessary suffering. It helps you stop chasing happiness and instead discover a deep, lasting contentment within. At the heart of Buddhism is a simple yet powerful truth. Suffering exists, but we are not powerless against it. The way we react to life shapes our happiness. Every thought, every action, and every belief we hold can either bring us peace or pull us deeper into struggle. This is why so many people turn to Buddhist teachings, not because they are forced to, but because they work. They offer a roadmap to inner peace that is as useful today as it was 2,500 years ago. Throughout this series, we will explore 7 core Buddhist teachings that have the power to change your life. These are not just philosophical ideas, they are practical tools that can shift the way you think, feel, and live. Are you ready to see life differently? Are you ready to break free from unnecessary stress and experience a deeper sense of peace? Stay with us, because what you're about to learn may completely change the way you see yourself and the world around you. The nature of suffering, understanding the first noble truth. Sit with me for a moment. Take a deep breath. Let's talk about something that every single person in this world experiences: suffering. No one escapes it. No matter who you are, where you live, or how much you own, suffering finds its way into life. But have you ever stopped to ask, why? Why do we feel pain when things don't go our way? Why do we struggle with emotions that won't leave us alone? Why do we keep searching for happiness, only to lose it again? Buddha asked these same questions over 2,500 years ago, and what he discovered changed the way millions of people understand life. His first great realization was simple but powerful. Suffering exists. It is a part of life, woven into every experience. But instead of running from it or denying it, he taught us to face it. Because when we truly understand suffering, we can free ourselves from its grip. Suffering is everywhere, but we ignore it. Think about your own life. How many times have you felt disappointed when something didn't turn out the way you wanted? Maybe a relationship ended. Maybe you lost something important. Maybe you felt stuck in a situation that made you unhappy. Now, think beyond yourself. Look at the world. People rushing through life, chasing after money, status, love, or success. And yet, so many still feel empty inside. Even the richest, the most powerful, and the most admired suffer. Why? Because suffering is part of being human. Buddha called this dukkha, a word that means suffering, dissatisfaction, or a deep sense that something is missing. It is not just physical pain. It is the feeling of never being fully at peace. The feeling that no matter what you do, life always has some kind of struggle. The 3 forms of suffering. Buddhism teaches that suffering appears in 3 ways. Obvious suffering, pain, illness, aging, death, heartbreak, loss. These are things we cannot avoid. They are a natural part of life, but we resist them. The suffering of change. The happiness you feel today will not last forever. What once made you joyful can one day make you sad. Change is constant, and with change comes uncertainty. The suffering of existence, even when life seems good. There is always an underlying sense of unease. A quiet feeling that something is missing, that we need something more. This keeps us chasing, searching, and never feeling fully satisfied. Once you start seeing these three types of suffering, you begin to understand why life feels the way it does. And more importantly, why happiness seems so fragile. Why do we struggle against suffering? Imagine standing in the ocean, trying to fight the waves. No matter how strong you are, the waves keep coming, knocking you down. The more you resist, the harder it gets. But what if, instead of fighting, you learn to move with the waves? This is the mistake we make in life. We fight against suffering, trying to escape it, ignore it, or control it. We think, if I get that job, I'll be happy. If I find the right person, my life will be complete. If I have more money, I'll be at peace. But have you noticed? Even when you get what you want, suffering doesn't disappear. There's always a new problem, a new desire, a new fear. Life keeps moving, and suffering comes with it. The more we cling to happiness and push away pain, the more we suffer. Seeing suffering clearly changes everything. Now, you might be thinking, so what do I do? If suffering is everywhere, is there any way to escape it? Yes, but the answer is not about running away. It's about understanding. Buddha taught that the first step to freedom is awareness. When you see suffering clearly, when you stop pretending it doesn't exist, you begin to change your relationship with it. Instead of reacting with frustration, fear, or denial, you start to observe it. Have you ever noticed how a child reacts when they fall and scrape their knee? If no one makes a big deal about it, the child often gets up and keeps playing. But if an adult rushes in with panic, the child starts crying even more. This is how our minds work. Pain is real, but our reaction to it makes it worse. When you accept suffering as part of life, something amazing happens. It loses its power over you. You stop fearing it. You stop trying to control everything. And in that moment, you take your first step toward true peace. A small change in perspective can transform your life. Right now, think about something in your life that causes you suffering. Maybe it's a difficult situation. Maybe it's a fear, a regret, or a loss. Instead of pushing it away, just observe it. Don't judge it. Don't try to fix it. Just see it. Feel the difference? The moment you stop resisting, suffering becomes lighter. It doesn't disappear, but it no longer controls you. This is the first step in the journey of Buddhist wisdom. Recognize suffering. Understand it. Accept it. Only then can you begin to rise above it. And this is just the beginning. In the next part, we will explore why suffering happens in the first place. Because once you know the cause, you can learn how to free yourself from it. Stay with me. This path leads to something truly powerful. The cause of suffering, the power of attachment and desire. Sit for a moment and think. Why do we suffer? Why do we feel pain, stress, frustration? Is it because of the world around us? Or is it because of something within us? Imagine a child holding a toy. The child loves it, plays with it, and finds joy in it. But then, the toy breaks. What happens? The child cries, feeling as if something precious has been lost forever. Now, ask yourself, was the suffering caused by the toy? Or was it caused by the attachment to it? This is how suffering begins. We hold on to things, people, experiences, and ideas as if they will last forever. But nothing lasts forever. And when life takes them away, we feel pain. Buddhism teaches that desire and attachment are the root causes of suffering. We want things, money, success, love, approval, comfort. And when we don't get them, we feel frustrated. Even when we do get them, we start fearing that we might lose them. This endless cycle of wanting and fearing creates suffering. Think about a time when you wanted something so badly. Maybe a new phone, a better job, a relationship. You thought, if I get this, I will be happy. But what happened when you got it? Maybe you felt happy for a while, but then a new desire appeared. The happiness didn't last, did it? This is the trap of desire. It keeps moving the goalpost. Attachment works the same way. We hold on to people, memories, beliefs, even pain. We refuse to let go, even when holding on only makes us suffer. Imagine gripping a rope tightly, so tightly that it burns your hand. The more you hold, the more it hurts. But the moment you let go, the pain stops. This is what attachment does. It hurts us, but we keep holding on. Now, does this mean we should stop wanting anything? No. Buddhism doesn't say, don't have dreams, or don't love anyone. It says, don't cling. Don't make your happiness depend on things you cannot control. Think about the seasons. Summer comes, then it goes. Winter arrives, then it fades. You don't try to hold on to summer, do you? You don't cry when winter ends. You accept the flow of life. This is the mindset that frees you from suffering. Look at relationships. Many times, suffering comes not from love itself, but from attachment. We try to control others, expect them to always be the same, fear losing them. But people change. Situations change. If we love without attachment, we can appreciate people for who they are in the moment, rather than fearing their loss. Even pain itself becomes suffering when we hold on to it. Someone insults you, and you feel hurt. But the real suffering happens when you keep thinking about it, replaying it in your mind, holding on to the pain. If you learn to let go, the pain passes like a wave in the ocean. So how do we stop this cycle? Awareness is the first step. See how desire and attachment create suffering in your life. Catch yourself when you start thinking, I'll only be happy if, or I can't live without. These thoughts trap you. The truth is, you can be at peace no matter what happens. Learn to enjoy life without gripping too tightly. Love without fear. Dream without obsession. Move forward without attachment. When you stop clinging, you stop suffering. The great Zen master once said, let go, or be dragged. Life will move forward whether we hold on or not. The choice is ours. Will we suffer by resisting change, or will we be free by accepting it? The path to liberation, the Noble Eightfold Path explained. Listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you can change everything. Life is full of struggles, isn't it? We chase happiness, but it slips away. We try to avoid pain, but it finds us anyway. It feels like an endless cycle, wanting more, losing what we love, getting stuck in emotions that refuse to let go. But what if there was a way out? A path that leads away from suffering, towards peace, towards something deeper than happiness. Something unshakable? Buddhism teaches that suffering isn't just bad luck or fate. It has a cause. And if suffering has a cause, it also has a cure. That cure is the Noble Eightfold Path, a simple yet powerful guide to living a life free from unnecessary pain. It's not about giving up everything and running away to the mountains. No, this path is for real life. For people like you, living in a busy world, dealing with real problems, real emotions, real struggles. This path isn't a set of rules. It's not about following blindly. It's about understanding how your thoughts, actions, and choices create your experience of life. It's about walking with wisdom instead of running in circles. The Noble Eightfold Path is not a magic formula, but if you follow it, step by step, you will begin to see life differently. You will feel lighter, calmer, stronger. But here's the truth. This path requires practice. Imagine your mind is like a wild horse, running in every direction. One moment, it's full of excitement. The next, it's drowning in fear. One moment, it's filled with love. The next, it's burning with anger. If you don't learn to guide it, it will drag you wherever it wants. The Noble Eightfold Path is the reins that help you take control. It doesn't force you. It simply shows the way. This path isn't about believing in something. It's about seeing for yourself. If you hold a cup of salt water and say, I believe this is sweet, does it change the taste? No. The only way to know is to drink. In the same way, these teachings are not meant to be believed blindly. You must test them in your own life. You must walk the path and see what happens. And when you do, you will notice something. The same situations that once made you angry won't shake you anymore. The same worries that once kept you up at night will lose their power. The same things that once controlled you will become small, like clouds passing in the sky. This is what it means to be free. Not free from responsibility, not free from effort, but free from the endless cycle of suffering. Some people ask, how long does it take to walk this path? That's the wrong question. The real question is, are you willing to take the first step? Because the moment you do, change begins. Even if you take one step, even if you move slowly, you are already heading toward a life of clarity and peace. Think about this. When you plant a seed, does it grow instantly? No. It takes time. It needs the right conditions. Sunlight, water, patience. The same is true for the mind. If you give it the right conditions, it will grow in wisdom, in strength, in peace. The Eightfold Path is not a destination. It's not something you complete. It is a way of living that transforms you, day by day, moment by moment. If you follow it with sincerity, something inside you will shift. You will no longer be a prisoner of your thoughts, your fears, your desires. You will begin to see life as it really is, beautiful, ever-changing, and full of possibility. So, are you ready to take that first step? Are you ready to let go of the unnecessary weight you've been carrying? The path is here. It has always been here. The only question is, will you walk it? The art of letting go, mastering non-attachment in daily life. Letting go. It sounds simple, yet it's one of the hardest things to do. People hold on to everything. Past mistakes, relationships, material things, even their own thoughts. But what if holding on is the very thing causing your suffering? What if true peace comes not from grasping but from releasing? Buddhism teaches that attachment is the root of suffering. When you cling to something, whether it's a person, an idea, or even a moment, you create fear. Fear of losing it, fear of change, fear that without it, you will be incomplete. But the truth is, nothing in life stays the same. Everything changes. The more you resist, the more you suffer. Think about a flowing river. It moves effortlessly, adapting to everything in its path. It does not cling to the rocks or try to hold on to a single drop of water. It just flows. Life is the same. If you try to hold on to things, you create tension. But when you learn to flow, you find peace. Non-attachment does not mean indifference. It does not mean you stop caring about people or things. It simply means you experience life fully, without trying to possess it. Love without clinging. Work without obsession. Enjoy without fearing loss. This is freedom. Look at your own life. How many things do you hold on to that bring you pain? Maybe it's a relationship that ended, but you keep replaying old memories. Maybe it's a past mistake, something you regret deeply. Or maybe it's an idea of who you should be, and you feel frustrated that life hasn't gone as planned. This attachment traps you. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Each stone represents something you refuse to let go of. Grudges, regrets, expectations. Every step you take, the weight slows you down. But what happens when you start removing the stones? You feel lighter. This is what letting go does. It frees you. Many people think letting go means losing something. But the truth is, you are not losing. You are gaining space. Space for new experiences. Space for peace. Space for happiness that is not dependent on external things. So how do you practice this in daily life? First, notice when you are holding on too tightly. When you feel anxious, ask yourself, what am I afraid to lose? Then remind yourself, everything is temporary. This moment, this feeling, even this body you live in, it is all changing. Accepting this truth brings peace. Imagine looking at a beautiful sunset. You enjoy it, but you do not try to grab it or keep it forever. You simply watch, appreciate, and let it fade. This is the way to experience life. Moments come and go. People come and go. Thoughts and emotions rise and fall. When you stop resisting change, suffering disappears. Non-attachment also means not being controlled by what happens outside of you. A compliment does not inflate your ego, and criticism does not destroy you. You are not defined by what people say or think. You become steady, like a mountain, unaffected by the winds of the world. This does not mean you stop setting goals or working hard. You can still strive for success, but without the fear of failure. You can love deeply, but without the fear of loss. You can give your best, but without attaching your happiness to the results. This is true balance. Many people spend their lives chasing happiness, always looking for something outside of themselves, a new relationship, a better job, more money. But nothing external can bring lasting happiness. The moment you get what you want, a new desire appears. It's like trying to fill a cup with a hole in the bottom. No matter how much you pour in, it's never enough. Real peace comes when you stop chasing and start being. When you stop needing things to be a certain way and instead accept life as it is. This is the power of letting go. The Buddha once said, "You only lose what you cling to." Think about that. If you don't hold on, you cannot lose. If you do not depend on something for happiness, you are free. In your own life, start small. Let go of one thought that causes stress. Let go of one expectation that brings disappointment. Let go of one memory that no longer serves you. Each time you release something, you step closer to inner peace. Letting go does not happen in one moment. It is a practice, a way of living. But the more you do it, the lighter you feel. And when you truly master this, you will realize freedom was always within you. The power of mindfulness, living fully in the present moment. Listen carefully. Right now, where is your mind? Is it here, in this moment? Or is it lost in thoughts of yesterday or worries about tomorrow? Be honest. How often do you truly pay attention to what is happening right now? Most people live in a constant state of distraction. They wake up and immediately reach for their phones. Their minds are already racing. What messages came in overnight? What needs to be done today? What problems need solving? Before they even step out of bed, they are already somewhere else, lost in thoughts, worries, and plans. This is how life slips away, not because time moves too fast, but because we are never truly present. Think about this. When was the last time you ate a meal without checking your phone, watching TV, or letting your mind wander? When was the last time you listened to someone without waiting for your turn to speak? When was the last time you walked outside and actually noticed the sky, the wind, the sounds around you? This is what mindfulness is about. Being fully present, being awake, truly living. A Zen story tells of a monk who was asked, "Master, what is enlightenment?" The monk replied, "When I eat, I eat. When I walk, I walk. When I sleep, I sleep." At first, this sounds simple, too simple. But think deeply. How often do you do just one thing at a time? When you eat, are you only eating? Or are you also thinking, scrolling, worrying? When you walk, are you just walking? Or are you lost in your thoughts? When you lie down to rest, do you actually rest? Or does your mind keep running in circles? Mindfulness is not a complex idea. It is the most natural thing in the world, to be where you are, fully. But in today's world, it has become the most difficult thing to do. People think happiness is something they will find later. They say, "I will be happy when I get that job, that house, that relationship." But what happens when they get those things? Their minds quickly move to the next desire, the next goal, the next worry. The cycle never ends. Buddhism teaches that happiness is not in the future. It is only here, only now. If you are not happy in this moment, you will not be happy in the next. The habit of chasing will continue. The only way to break free is to wake up, to be fully present in this moment. Try this right now. Take a deep breath in. Feel the air enter your lungs. Hold it for a second. Now breathe out slowly. Pay attention to the feeling of your breath. That's it. You are here. You are awake. This is mindfulness. Some people think mindfulness means sitting in meditation for hours. But that is just one way to practice. The real practice is in daily life. You can be mindful anywhere, anytime. When you drink water, feel the coolness as it touches your lips. When you hear a sound, listen fully, without judgment. When you speak, be aware of your words and their impact. When you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet. This is how ordinary moments become extraordinary. When you are present, even the simplest things, drinking tea, feeling the sun on your skin, hearing the laughter of a child, become sources of deep joy. A wandering mind is a suffering mind. Research even confirms this. Studies show that people are less happy when their minds are elsewhere, even if they are thinking about pleasant things. Why? Because they are not truly living. Think about it. What is life made of? Not years, not months, not even days. Life is made of moments. If you miss the moments, you miss life itself. Some people ask, but what about the past? Should we just forget it? No. The past is a teacher, but it is not a place to live. Learn from it, but do not cling to it. And the future? Plan for it, but do not be consumed by it. You can only build a good future by living well in the present. There is a Zen saying, when you are in the past, you are lost in memory. When you are in the future, you are lost in imagination. When you are present, you are truly alive. If you are always waiting for something, waiting for the weekend, for the vacation, for the next big achievement, you are missing life. This moment is your life. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. But how do you stay mindful when life is so busy? The answer is simple. Start small. Take one daily activity and turn it into a mindfulness practice. It could be drinking your morning tea, taking a short walk, or simply breathing for a few seconds before checking your phone. Train yourself to return to the present moment again and again. At first, your mind will resist. It will try to pull you back into thinking, planning, worrying. That's normal. The mind is like a restless monkey, always jumping from one thought to another. But with practice, the monkey can be trained. The more you return to the present, the easier it becomes. Eventually, mindfulness becomes a way of life. You stop rushing. You stop overthinking. You simply live. And in that simple, quiet presence, you discover something incredible: peace. Not the kind of peace that depends on perfect circumstances. Not the kind of peace that comes and goes, but a peace that is always there, beneath the noise of the mind, waiting to be found. This is the power of mindfulness. It does not change the outside world, but it completely transforms how you experience it. It turns ordinary life into something sacred. The question is, are you ready to wake up? The law of karma, how your actions shape your destiny. Do you ever wonder why life unfolds the way it does? Why some people seem to face endless struggles while others appear to glide through life with ease? Is it just luck? Or is there something deeper at work? Imagine a farmer planting seeds. If he plants mango seeds, he will get mangoes. If he plants thorns, he will get thorns. The earth does not choose what to give. It only returns what is sown. Life works the same way. Every thought, word, and action is a seed. What you plant, you will one day harvest. This is karma. Karma is not punishment or reward. It is not fate, and it is not some mystical force controlling your life. It is simply cause and effect. Your actions create results, just like a seed creates a tree. A kind word can grow into trust. A harsh word can grow into resentment. Every action has an outcome, whether seen or unseen. Many people think karma is instant, but it is not always like that. Some seeds grow quickly, like grass. Others take years, like a mighty tree. The effects of your actions may not be visible today, but they are never lost. They will return when the time is right. This is why patience is important. Just because you do not see the results yet does not mean they are not forming. Think about a time when you helped someone with kindness. Maybe they smiled. Maybe they felt lighter. That moment of kindness stayed with them, even if you did not see it. And in some way, at some time, kindness will find its way back to you. Now, think of a time when anger took over. Maybe you hurt someone with words or actions. That moment of harm does not disappear. It creates a ripple, and one day, that ripple will return. Karma is like a shadow. It follows you everywhere, not as punishment, but as a reflection of what you create. You do not need to fear it, but you must understand it. If you do not like the results in your life, change the actions that create them. Some people say, I have done good things, but bad things still happen to me. Is karma even real? Imagine filling a cup with water. If there was dirt in the cup before, the first few pours may be muddy. But as you keep pouring clean water, the cup will eventually be clear. Your past karma does not disappear instantly, but if you keep choosing good actions, your future will shift. Karma is also not about blaming yourself. It is not about feeling guilty for every mistake. It is about awareness. Once you understand that every action shapes your future, you have the power to make different choices. You are not stuck. No matter what has happened before, you can plant new seeds starting today. Think of your life as a garden. You cannot control the weather, but you can choose what to grow. If weeds have taken over, it is not too late to pull them out. If the soil is dry, you can water it. What matters is what you do now. So, what kind of seeds are you planting? Are they seeds of patience or anger, generosity or greed, forgiveness or resentment? You do not need to be perfect, but you must be mindful. Small actions create big results over time. Even thoughts are seeds. If you keep thinking negative thoughts, they grow into negative emotions, which shape negative actions. If you plant thoughts of peace, they grow into wisdom, which leads to a calmer life. Your mind is the soil. Be careful what you plant there. One of the most powerful things about karma is that it frees you from the illusion of unfairness. Life is not random. Everything happens for a reason, even if you do not always understand it. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" Every challenge is a chance to learn. Have you ever met someone who remains kind, no matter what? Someone who has every reason to be bitter, yet chooses peace? That person understands karma. They know that holding on to anger only plants more suffering. So they let go. They forgive. Not because others deserve it, but because they know what they plant today will grow tomorrow. Karma is not just about individual actions. It shapes entire families, communities, and societies. If a generation passes down wisdom, the next one benefits. If a generation passes down pain, the next one suffers. You are not just creating your future, you are shaping the world around you. So, take a moment and ask yourself, what kind of life do you want to create? If you want love, plant love. If you want peace, plant peace. If you want understanding, plant understanding. And if you want happiness, stop planting the seeds of misery. You are not powerless. You are not a victim of fate. Your life is your garden, and every choice is a seed. Choose wisely. Compassion and loving kindness, the heart of Buddhist practice. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a world where everyone treats each other with kindness. No anger, no hatred, just understanding. How different would life feel? How peaceful would the world be? But the truth is, we don't live in that world. People hurt each other. Arguments happen. There's jealousy, frustration, and resentment everywhere. Sometimes, even the people closest to us can bring pain. And sometimes, we are the ones who hurt others, even without meaning to. So, what is the way out of this endless cycle of pain? How do we stop feeling angry when someone wrongs us? How do we let go of bitterness that weighs us down? Buddhism gives a simple yet powerful answer: compassion. Compassion isn't just about being nice. It's deeper than that. It's about truly understanding the struggles of others. It's about realizing that everyone, no matter how they act, is fighting their own battles. Just like you feel pain, they feel pain too. Just like you have bad days, they do too. When you start to see this, everything changes. Think about the last time someone annoyed you. Maybe they were rude, impatient, or disrespectful. Your first reaction was probably anger. How dare they treat me like that? Right? But now, imagine this. What if that person was going through something terrible? What if they just lost a loved one? What if they were struggling with deep sadness? Would you still be as angry? That's what compassion does. It shifts your perspective. It helps you see beyond the surface. Instead of reacting with anger, you react with understanding. Instead of holding grudges, you let go. And the best part? It brings you peace. Loving kindness is another piece of this wisdom. It means choosing to send good thoughts to others, even to those who have hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Holding on to anger only poisons your own heart. Letting go is not for them. It's for you. But how do you develop compassion? How do you actually practice loving kindness? It starts small. The next time someone upsets you, take a deep breath. Before reacting, ask yourself, what pain might this person be carrying? Maybe they're scared. Maybe they're lonely. Maybe they just don't know a better way to behave. This simple thought can transform your emotions in seconds. And then, try this. Silently wish them well. Instead of saying something harsh, say to yourself, I hope they find peace. I hope they heal. It might feel strange at first, but over time, this becomes a habit. And when it does, your life changes. Compassion doesn't mean allowing people to walk all over you. It doesn't mean accepting abuse or letting others take advantage of you. It simply means choosing understanding over hate, peace over anger. It means setting boundaries without bitterness. It means letting go without resentment. When you carry compassion in your heart, you free yourself. You stop overthinking every insult. You stop wasting energy on revenge. You stop letting small things ruin your peace. Life becomes lighter. Every interaction feels different. Even difficult people no longer have power over your emotions. Now, imagine a world where everyone practiced this. Imagine how many fights would end before they even started. Imagine how many relationships would heal. Imagine how much peace we would feel, not just as individuals, but as a society. This is why Buddhism teaches compassion as a core practice. It's not just about making the world a better place. It's about making your own mind a better place to live in. When you let go of hate, your heart becomes lighter. When you choose kindness, you feel happier. And when you stop seeing others as enemies, you start seeing the world in a completely new way. If you've ever felt trapped by resentment, if you've ever held on to anger for too long, if you've ever wished you could find peace in your relationships, this is the answer. Not revenge, not proving a point. Compassion. Try it, even for one day, even for one moment. The next time you feel anger rise, pause, and choose kindness instead. You'll be amazed at how much freedom it brings. The illusion of the self, understanding anatta and true freedom. Sit for a moment. Close your eyes. Ask yourself, who are you? Are you your name, your thoughts, your memories, your body? If you remove these one by one, what remains? Most people believe they have a fixed self, a solid, unchanging identity. This is who I am, they say. But is that really true? The Buddha taught that this idea of a permanent self is an illusion. He called it anatta, which means no self. It's one of the most profound and freeing truths in Buddhism. But how can there be no self? You are sitting here, thinking, feeling, breathing. How can you not exist? Think of a river. When you look at it, you might call it the river, as if it's one thing. But is it? The water is constantly flowing, always changing. The river of today is not the river of yesterday. It's a process, not a thing. You are like that river. Your thoughts change. Your body changes. Your feelings change. Yet, you hold on to the idea that you are always the same person. Imagine you find an old picture of yourself from years ago. Do you feel like the same person in that photo? Back then, you had different worries, different dreams, and maybe even a different way of thinking. If your past self and present self are so different, which one is the real you? The truth is, there is no fixed you. There is only change. This might feel strange, even scary. If there is no self, then who is living this life? But this isn't bad news, it's freedom. The idea of a fixed self keeps us trapped. We get stuck in labels. I am this kind of person. I can never change. This is just who I am. These thoughts limit us. When you see through the illusion of self, you realize you are not stuck. You are not a prisoner of your past. You are not a collection of labels. Think of a wave in the ocean. It rises, it falls, it disappears. Does the wave exist? Yes. But is it separate from the ocean? No. You are like that wave, real, but not separate. You are part of something much bigger. Let's go deeper. What happens when someone insults you? You feel hurt. But why? Because you take their words personally. You believe they are attacking you. But if the self is just an illusion, then what exactly is being attacked? Nothing. It's like someone insulting a cloud. The cloud doesn't care. It just keeps moving. The same goes for emotions. When anger comes, you say, I am angry. But is that true? Is anger really you? Or is it just something passing through? When sadness comes, you say, I am sad. But sadness is like a guest. It arrives, stays for a while, then leaves. You don't have to hold on to it. Understanding anatta doesn't mean you stop existing. It means you stop clinging. It means you stop taking everything so seriously. You stop fighting life. Instead, you flow with it. Imagine carrying a heavy bag on your back for years, believing it's part of you. Then one day, you realize you can put it down. That is the freedom of no self. Think about how much suffering comes from trying to protect the self. We feel offended, we argue, we chase things, we fear losing what we have. But when you realize the self is just a story, all of that softens. You stop getting so attached. You stop taking things so personally. You stop being so afraid. This doesn't mean you become empty or lifeless. In fact, the opposite happens. You become lighter, freer, more at peace. You start to live fully in the present, without being weighed down by the past or obsessed with the future. Look at nature. A tree doesn't worry about being a tree. A river doesn't struggle to be a river. They just exist, flowing with life. When you let go of the illusion of self, you do the same. You stop resisting. You stop forcing. You just live. And when you live like this, something amazing happens. You feel connected to others, to nature, to life itself. Without the illusion of self, there is no separation. When someone else suffers, you feel it because, in a way, they are you. Compassion grows naturally. Love becomes deeper. Life becomes richer. So, ask yourself again, who are you? If you let go of the idea of a fixed self, what remains? Just awareness. Just presence. Just life itself, flowing like a river. And that is true freedom. Inner peace through meditation, techniques to transform the mind. Sit down for a moment. Take a deep breath in and out. Notice how your mind is still running, still thinking, still moving from one thought to another. This is what the mind does. It jumps, it wanders, it worries. But what if you could train it? What if you could make it calm, focused, and peaceful, no matter what is happening around you? Meditation is not about stopping thoughts. It's not about forcing the mind to be silent. It's about understanding the mind, watching it, and learning to let go. Just like a glass of muddy water becomes clear when left undisturbed, your mind, too, becomes clear when you allow it to settle. Most people live in their thoughts. They are lost in worries about the past or fears about the future. Their minds pull them in every direction, and they have no control over it. But meditation changes that. It brings you back to the present, to this moment, to reality. Because the truth is, life is only happening here and now. Have you ever noticed how much energy your thoughts take? A single worry can ruin your whole day. A single regret can make you suffer for years. Meditation is the practice of freeing yourself from the grip of these thoughts. It doesn't mean you stop thinking. It means thoughts no longer control you. Think of the sky. No matter how many clouds come and go, the sky remains untouched. Your mind is the sky, and thoughts are just passing clouds. Most people chase the clouds, trying to hold on to them or push them away. But meditation teaches you to be the sky, to watch without reacting, to allow everything to come and go without attachment. You don't need a special place or hours of free time to meditate. You just need a few minutes and a little patience. Sit down, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Feel the air entering your nose. Feel it leaving. When thoughts arise, and they will, simply notice them. Don't fight them. Don't follow them. Just let them go. At first, your mind will resist. It will say, "This is boring," or "I can't do this." That's normal. The mind doesn't like being still. But with time, something incredible happens. You start to feel lighter, calmer, and clearer. The noise in your head becomes quieter. You begin to notice the beauty of each moment, the simplicity of just being. Meditation is like training a wild horse. At first, it fights, runs, refuses to listen. But if you are patient, if you keep guiding it gently, it learns to be still, to trust, to listen. Your mind is the same. If you train it, it will become your greatest ally instead of your greatest enemy. Many people think meditation is about escaping life, but it's the opposite. It's about fully experiencing life. It helps you see things as they really are, without the fog of emotions and overthinking. It allows you to respond to life, rather than react blindly. Imagine this. You're stuck in traffic. You're late, frustrated, and your mind is filled with anger. Normally, you would react, honk the horn, feel stressed. But with meditation, you simply breathe. You notice your frustration, but you don't let it take over. You remain calm, unaffected. The traffic is the same, but your experience of it has changed. This is the power of meditation. It doesn't change the world, it changes you. And when you change, everything around you feels different. Many people believe they don't have time to meditate. But meditation doesn't take time, it gives you time. When your mind is clear, you make better decisions. You waste less energy on stress and worry. You become more present, more focused, more alive. Think of a lake. When the surface is disturbed, you can't see the bottom. But when it becomes still, everything becomes clear. Your mind works the same way. A still mind sees clearly, understands deeply, and remains peaceful even in the middle of chaos. Some days, meditation will feel easy. Other days, it will feel impossible. That's okay. The key is consistency. Even 1 minute of stillness is better than none. Over time, the effects will surprise you. You'll start noticing that things that used to make you anxious no longer have the same power over you. You'll feel more patient, more at ease, more in control of your emotions. Imagine walking through a storm with an open umbrella. The wind is strong, the rain is heavy, but you remain dry. Meditation is your umbrella. It protects your peace, no matter how rough life gets. And the best part? You don't need to believe in anything special. You don't need to follow any rules. Meditation is not about religion. It's about you, your mind, and your peace. So, start today. Find a quiet place. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Let go. The mind will resist, but be patient. Soon, you'll discover a calmness within you that nothing in the world can shake. The middle way, balancing discipline and enjoyment in life. Life is full of extremes. Some people push themselves too hard, working day and night, chasing success, wealth, or perfection. Others give in to every pleasure, seeking comfort, avoiding struggle, and drifting without direction. But what if both paths lead to suffering? What if the real way to peace lies somewhere in between? Buddha discovered this truth long ago. Before he became enlightened, he lived both extremes. He was once a prince, surrounded by luxury, indulging in every pleasure. But he found that pleasure alone did not bring deep happiness. So, he abandoned it all, choosing the life of an ascetic, starving himself, pushing his body to its limits, rejecting every comfort. Yet, this too led only to suffering. Then, one day, he realized, neither extreme was the answer. The key to true peace was balance. This became the middle way, a path that avoids both overindulgence and extreme self-denial. Think about a stringed instrument. If the strings are too loose, they produce no sound. If they are too tight, they snap. Only when they are tuned just right do they create beautiful music. Life is the same. Too much pressure, and we break. Too much comfort, and we become weak. But when we find balance, we flow with life, instead of fighting against it. Many people believe that to succeed, they must sacrifice everything. Rest, relationships, even their own well-being. But what happens when they finally achieve their goal? Often, they feel empty, burned out, or lost. They spent years chasing something, only to realize they never truly lived. On the other hand, those who only seek comfort and pleasure often find themselves stuck. They avoid difficulties, but they also avoid growth. They seek happiness in entertainment, food, or distractions, but deep down, they feel unfulfilled. Buddhism teaches that neither extreme leads to true happiness. A meaningful life is not about always pushing or always relaxing. It is about knowing when to act and when to rest, when to strive and when to let go. Discipline is important. Without effort, dreams remain dreams. Without persistence, nothing grows. But discipline should not come from a place of fear or pressure. It should come from wisdom, knowing that some things are worth the struggle. At the same time, joy is necessary. Life is not just about achieving. It is about experiencing laughter, love, moments of stillness. These are not distractions, but essential parts of being alive. A life without joy is like a tree without leaves, functional, but lifeless. So, how do we find the middle way in our own lives? How do we balance effort and ease, discipline and enjoyment? It begins with awareness. Ask yourself, am I pushing too hard, or am I avoiding effort? Am I controlling everything, or am I letting life drift by? Simply noticing these patterns is the first step to balance. If you are too much, pause. Ask yourself why. Are you chasing something without knowing if it will bring true happiness? Are you afraid of slowing down? Learn to rest without guilt, not as an escape, but as a way to recharge. If you avoid effort, Challenge yourself. Growth requires discomfort. Struggle is not the enemy. It is how we become stronger, wiser, and more capable. But don't push yourself out of fear. Push yourself because you respect your own potential. Balance is not a fixed state. It is a practice. Some days, you will need more effort. Other days, you will need more rest. This is natural. What matters is that you stay aware, that you adjust, that you keep returning to the center. When you find this balance, life feels lighter. You stop fighting against yourself. You work hard, but you don't burn out. You enjoy life, but you don't become lost in pleasure. You walk the middle way, not too tight, not too loose, just right. This is the path to real peace. Not in some distant future, but right here, right now. Final wisdom, applying these teachings for a meaningful life. So, you've walked this journey. You've listened, reflected, and maybe even felt a shift deep inside. But now comes the most important part. What will you do with this wisdom? Will it just be words you heard once, or will it become something you live by? Buddhism is not about knowledge alone. It's about practice. It's about living what you've learned. If you truly want to change your life, these teachings can't just stay in your mind. They must become part of your daily actions, your thoughts, your choices. Think about it. How many times have you heard something wise, nodded in agreement, and then gone back to old habits? How often do we understand something but fail to apply it? That's the real challenge. Knowing is easy. Doing is hard. But if you take even one lesson from this journey and apply it, you will see a difference. Start small. You don't need to become a monk. You don't need to change everything overnight. Just begin. One thought at a time. One action at a time. Every moment gives you a choice. Will you react with frustration or respond with wisdom? Will you hold on or let go? Will you chase or will you find peace in what is? The world will still be chaotic. People will still be unkind. Challenges will still come. But you will be different. And when you are different, the way you experience the world changes too. Look around you. Everything you stress about, everything you crave, everything you fear, none of it is permanent. It will all pass, just like the wind passing through the trees. This moment, it's already fading. The past, it's already gone. The future, it hasn't arrived. So where does peace exist? Right here, right now. If you've learned anything from this journey, let it be this. Your peace is in your hands. It's not in the things you own, the approval of others, or the achievements you chase. It's in your ability to see clearly, to let go, and to be fully present. Every breath you take is a chance to start fresh. Every moment is a chance to choose peace over struggle. Will you take that chance? Or will you keep running in circles, chasing happiness in places it can never last? There is no final destination in this journey. No perfect ending where everything suddenly makes sense and all problems disappear. Life will keep moving, changing, challenging you. But now, you have something you didn't have before, awareness. You have seen the power of non-attachment. You have understood the weight of suffering and the freedom that comes from letting go. You have learned the art of mindfulness, the strength of compassion, the illusion of the self. These are not just lessons. They are tools. Use them. The choice is yours. Will you keep reacting, or will you respond with wisdom? Will you let emotions control you, or will you watch them, understand them, and let them pass like clouds in the sky? You might forget these words in a week. You might return to old habits. That's okay. The path is always here, waiting for you. Even if you get lost, even if you forget, the moment you remember, the moment you come back to awareness, that is enough. No one can walk this path for you. No book, no teacher, no video can transform you. Only you can. But if you take just one step, if you make one small change in the way you think, that is enough to begin. So, take this wisdom and carry it with you. Not just in your mind, but in your actions. Be mindful, be kind, be present, let go, and remember, this is not the end. This is just the beginning. Before you go, if you found even one insight in this journey that spoke to you, support this channel. There are so many views, but only 0.2% subscribe. So, if this wisdom has helped you, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And don't forget, drop your thoughts in the comments. Your words matter. May you walk this path with clarity. May you find peace in the present. And may you live with wisdom, now and always. Walking the path of wisdom every day. You have reached the end of this journey, but in truth, the path never really ends. The lessons you have heard are not something to simply understand once and move on from. They must be lived. They must be practiced. Wisdom is not in knowing, but in doing. So now, let us sit together, breathe, and reflect deeply. Let us go beyond the words and enter the silence where true understanding arises. The real challenge begins now. Many people listen to wisdom but do not apply it. They admire the teachings, but when difficulties arise, they return to old habits. The mind loves comfort. It loves what is familiar. But the real change happens when you step beyond your comfort, when you challenge yourself to live differently, to see differently. This is where the real test begins. Not when you are sitting in peace, but when life is chaotic. Not when things are easy, but when suffering appears. Will you remember the teachings then? Will you pause before reacting? Will you breathe before letting anger take over? This is the real practice of Buddhism, not in words, but in action. The illusion of time. Most people live trapped in time. They are either clinging to the past or worrying about the future. But life does not exist in the past, nor in the future. Life only exists here, in this very moment. Right now, as you read this, where is the past? It is only a thought. Where is the future? It is only an imagination. Yet, how often do we let the mind pull us into places that are not real? We relive old mistakes. We chase future desires. And in doing so, we miss the only thing that is ever real, the present moment. To be present is to be free. To be present is to experience life fully, without distortion. But presence is not something that just happens. It is a practice. Right now, take a deep breath. Feel it. Notice it. Listen to the sounds around you. Be here. That is all that is needed. Just this moment. Just this breath. The power of non-attachment. One of the greatest causes of suffering is attachment, to people, to things, to ideas, to outcomes. We attach because we believe things will bring us happiness. We attach because we fear loss. But in attachment, there is always suffering. Think of water in your hands. If you try to grab it tightly, it slips through your fingers. But if you let your hands stay open, the water remains. Life is the same way. When you cling too tightly to something, you create suffering. But when you hold things lightly, with appreciation but without fear of losing them, you experience freedom. Nothing lasts forever. Not happiness, not sadness, not even life itself. Everything is always changing. And when you accept this, you stop resisting reality. You flow with life instead of fighting against it. The practice of letting go. Letting go does not mean not caring. It does not mean giving up. It means releasing control over things that are beyond your control. You cannot control how people act. You cannot control what happens tomorrow. You cannot control everything that unfolds in life. But you can control how you respond. You can control your thoughts. You can control how much you allow things to disturb your peace. Let go of the need for things to be a certain way. Let go of the belief that happiness is found in something outside of you. Let go of the idea that you are incomplete. You are already whole. You are always whole. The illusion of the self. Buddhism teaches that the self is an illusion. The person you believe yourself to be is only a collection of memories, thoughts, habits, and emotions. It is not permanent. It is not fixed. It is always changing. Yet, we suffer because we cling to an identity. We say, "This is who I am." And when life challenges that belief, we feel lost. But what if there is no fixed self? What if you are not a single thing but a flowing river, always moving, always changing? If you understand this deeply, you stop clinging to the idea of I and instead experience life with openness. You become free from ego, free from needing to prove yourself, free from the endless desire to be something more. The true nature of happiness. Happiness is not something you find. It is something you uncover. It is already within you, buried beneath desires, fears, and attachments. Look at children. They do not need a reason to be happy. They find joy in the simplest things, a butterfly, a puddle, a moment of play. But as we grow, we complicate happiness. We say, I will be happy when I get this, or I will be happy when things change. But what if happiness is not in the future? What if it is already here, waiting for you to notice it? Happiness is in the silence between thoughts. Happiness is in the breath you take right now. Happiness is in the simple act of being alive. Stop chasing. Start seeing. Happiness is already here. The journey continues. You have come far on this journey, but this is only the beginning. Wisdom is not something you learn once. It is something you cultivate for a lifetime. Every day, you will have a choice. Will you react, or will you respond with wisdom? Will you cling, or will you let go? Will you live in the past, or will you embrace the present? Each moment is a chance to practice. Each moment is a chance to be free. A final thought. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to understand everything right away. Even a single step on this path is enough. A seed does not become a tree in one day. The sun does not rise instantly. The river does not reach the ocean in a single moment. So be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Walk this path one step at a time. And remember, peace is not found outside. It is found within. If this wisdom has helped you, if even one word resonated with your heart, then share this journey with others. Help others find this path. There are so many views, yet only 0.2% subscribe. If you have found even a small piece of truth in these words, then like, comment, share, and subscribe to support this channel. Let us continue to walk this path together. May you find peace. May you find clarity. May you live with wisdom, now and always.